How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today we have some tips, tricks and some strategies for you to utilize when you're playing on Hardpoint. Now you can use these to dominate the game and win pretty much most of your lobbies. We're going to be going over some different strategies throughout the gameplay, and then we're going to be breaking down some clips from the same game at the end, going over the tips that I've showed you so you can sort of see them, how they work when you're actually live in the action. So without further ado, let's get right into the tips. So firstly, you want to think about what sort of role you're going to be playing whilst you're on Hardpoint. Now this sort of doesn't work all the time for pubs, as it sort of depends how your teammates are playing, but especially for when ranked play comes out, you want to bear this in mind. So you have the AR role. You're mainly going to be watching different lanes where the enemies may be pushing from. You need to learn the spawns for that, but we're going to be sort of going over that in a minute. And then also you have the SMG role, or like an objective player. You're going to be hopping on the point at any chance you can get. You're going to be using a trophy system to put down the points and getting up those points for your team. And then you can also have a Slayer role. Now you can use either SMG, AR, whatever you're comfortable with, and you're just going to be hovering around from point to point, just racking up the kills and taking out enemies and sort of stopping them flanking and pushing the point. Now let's talk about the spawns. So this is key for dominating in Hardpoint. You need to figure out where the enemies are going to be spawning, as you can make your plays from this and learn how to defend and where to cut them off. So pretty much, if you use your map as well, this is going to be key for this. Pretty much, if you're spawning one side of the point, generally the enemies are going to be sort of the other side of it, or just in a different place where you're not spawning pretty much. And then spawns will flip as you start to push up on the point, so just bear that in mind. And once you see an enemy coming from a certain direction, you want to keep watching it, because normally they are going to be spawning from there as well. So it's just something to bear in mind, but the more you play it, obviously, the more you're going to sort of learn this. And if you're playing pubs, you're going to be able to use UAVs as well, so use this to your advantage, and it'll make things a lot easier. So I just want to talk about some tips on how you can actually attack the point in itself when you're playing on the offense. So pretty much you want to be using different routes to push up on the point. So you want to take a look at the map and see which directions your teammates are pushing from. And then by covering more ground like this and going through different routes, then this will make the enemies spawn out as well. And then once you get onto the point, you want to sort of eliminate where the enemies may be. So if you're in a room, you want to sort of check the corners and stuff like that before you get in the room, the ones that you can, and just sort of eliminate areas where the enemies could be. And then, so say you've checked all three corners outside the building, then you know the guy should be in the fourth, so you can sort of slide cancel or jump shot in to take him out like so. And then also, of course, you want to be using your lethals and tacticals. So if you have a teammate that's sort of playing with you and you're on comms, then you want to be double nading points or places where the enemies could be pushing from, and then using your stuns as well to clear out hard points. And obviously people will be using trophy systems, so bear that in mind. So you want to be taking them out whenever you see them as well. Also, smokes can be handy for Hardpoint, you know, to cover up a route, or you could smoke an area and then run a different way to keep the enemies guessing. Now, when you're defending a Hardpoint, obviously you want to get your trophy down if you're on the point, or even when you're playing as a defensive role. So you just want to pick an area where you can have a good head glitch, or you can mount up, or just cut off the enemies as they're pushing towards you. So this will generally be just outside of a point, on a lane, you know, behind a car, behind a box, anything you can head glitch behind, and just taking enemies out before they even get to the point. So this obviously works. If you're playing in pubs, then you want to sort of check how your teammates are playing if you're not talking to them, and then yeah, you can use this to your sort of advantage and figure out whether you need to be the objective player in that pub or if you need to defend. Now I just want to touch up on rotations and when to rotate and how to rotate. So firstly, you want to learn the maps and where all the hard points are. Obviously a lot of people are going to know the maps already, but just make sure you learn them for Hardpoint and which direction the point's going to go in. And obviously when it gets to 10 seconds, it's going to tell you where the next hardpoint is. And this is generally when you want to rotate and not leave the enemies time to get to the point before you. So you want to be beating them to the mark pretty much most of the time. And also sometimes it's not worth jumping on a hardpoint. So say there's, I don't know, 20 seconds left and you're trying to push a hill and you keep getting killed and you can't quite get it. So you want to make your way to the next hardpoint, especially if you're losing, because if you can get to the hard point and set up first, then you're going to be able to get a full minute on it if you can defend it from the enemies. So it's just something to sort of keep in mind. And then lastly, you want to be using good comms. This is pretty much for any game mode of COD, but if you're in a pub, this can be hard sometimes, so just keep an eye on what your teammates are doing and base your plays off this. And then if you're playing with a team, it's going to be so much easier. If you're playing against a team that doesn't have comms, you're going to dominate all the time. So just let your teammates know what angles you've got, which lanes you're covering, or when you're pushing up, anything like that. Or just let your teammates know, where the enemies are spawning. Pretty much just cover all bases on that regard. Now, we're going to get into some of the clips from this game, and I'm going to break down some of the things I'm doing and showing you some of the tips in live action. So let's get into that. So in this first clip, I wasn't actually playing with comms in a pub in this game, but I just want to show you how I use the map to sort of figure out where I need to be to position myself to defend the hard point. So as you can see, I'm getting kills across the map there, watching this middle part of the map, and I'll zoom in on the map now just in a second so I can show you why I did this and how I chose to pick here. It's pretty much, as you'll see, my teammate's going to be rushing into the hard point before it's ready. Now I know they've got that unlocked, and I can see there's a teammate further out on the left who's going to be watching the left side of the map. So pretty much this leaves me open in the middle just to watch over where the enemies will be pushing from, which as it's the start of the map, I know it's going to be from their spawn, as obviously it's going to be the opposite side of the point to where I spawned. So just sort of use this to your advantage on figuring out where you need to be to position yourself and how to know where the enemies are going to be coming from as well. So in this clip, I sort of figured out at no point pushing that hill anymore, I need to make my way over to the next point. So as you can see, there was 10 seconds left on the clock, and it was a bit of a hard hill to push from the angle I was in. So I'm going to get right over to the other hard point, and I'm going to put my trophy down, get set up and ready to defend this point. And we do end up getting quite a few points off this one as well. So it's just always a good idea to know when to rotate early. So I just wanted to show you that clip there. So here, as you can see, I'm taking the alternate route up the ladder to push this hard point. I know there's a guy up there and he's watching out the front. So I'm going to flank around the side, come in, take him out easy, and I'm going to get set up on the hard point myself to get those points. Now in this clip, you're going to see me figure out where the enemies are spawning from. So I killed a guy to the left, and I can see that my team pushed into the point, so I instantly check, and you're going to see somebody else push out. So pretty much that's just using sort of visual knowledge and knowledge of where your teammates are, and just figuring out where the enemies may push from. Obviously the best way of doing this is seeing where they actually come from, but just bear in mind you can figure this out by using the map and your teammates' whereabouts as well. So that's all we're going to have time for today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you very much again. So if you did, then don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe, as it really does help out the channel. And don't forget to share this around as well, and let me know what other tip videos you'd like to see. Anything it can be, I'm happy to take any requests, so please let me know. So without further ado, thank you all for watching, hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video.